This conference will now be recorded.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Pass them there. Mr. Reed,
Here.
Mr. Woodham,
Here.
Mr. Carey,
Here.
Ms. Lively, here, Mr. Piercy,
Here.
Mr. Brock, Mr. Broderick, Mr. Kuhn,
Here.
Mr. Burris,
Here.
and Ms. Young. Here.
Thank you. Thank you. Public participation, in-person participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. Those wishing to speak are required to sign in prior to commencement of the meeting and must address council from the seat and table provided. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. Any public tonight? Thank you. Remote participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. At this time, members of the public are able to attend public meetings by web conference and to submit public comment by email, voicemail, or through web conference. Anyone tonight, Maura?
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to consent agenda. Approval of documents and action items is listed. Claims report. Claims dated June 11, 2024 through June 24, 2024. Meeting minutes, City Council meeting minutes, June 10, 2024. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Woodham,
Yes.
Mr. Carey,
Yes.
Ms. Lively,
Yes.
Mr. Piercy,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Ms. Young. Motion passes.
Thank you. Mayor's report. Business news, best wishes to Savannah Hatfield, owner of Grace and May Boutique, which will be closing the downtown location at the end of the month. And welcome to Brackett and Company, who will be opening this fall in that space. Tim Heck, fellow alumnus. Congratulations to Michelle Murphy on transitioning from Fieldhouse 219 to operating the Moore Event Space in downtown. Legends Corner will also be opening this fall at the former Fieldhouse 219 space. You may also notice the road construction project at the south end of town is progressing. This project will not only create better and safer access for 5 business owners impacted, but also allow for future development of the 15-acre parcel the road connects to. Some upcoming events. Monticello Movie Night will present Top Gun Maverick this Friday on the movie will begin at sunset, weather permitting. The Monticello Freedom Fest is July 3rd at Lodge Park, and visitors are encouraged to take the shuttle to the park. There are still tickets available for the Monticello Railway Museum's fireworks train. Spend part of your Independence Day weekend by listening to some of the best blues in Allerton's Reds, Whites, and Blues on Friday, July 5th at 6:00 p.m. on the Gatehouse lawn. The Monticello Recreation Foundation will be putting on a family-friendly fundraising event called Smoke and Octane. The event is scheduled for Friday evening, July 19, Saturday, July 20th on the former Pepsin property in Bushwood on Main. The event includes a car show and barbecue competition, live music, mini golf tournaments for adults and kids of all ages, cornhole tournament, 50-50 raffle, and a small selection of food vendors. Monticello Fire and Rescue will be serving hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, and a drink Friday evening. For all event details, visit MonticelloRecreationFoundation.org. If you are available, council, to volunteer, please contact Terry by Friday. Okay. Moving on to new business. Ordinance 2024-31, an ordinance approving the First Amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the City of Monticello and Jackson Property Development LLC 204 West Washington Street concerning the property located at 204 through 206 West Washington Street, Monticello, Illinois. Who's speaking to that? Terry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In January of this year, the council approved a redevelopment agreement with Jackson Property Development LLC by ordinance 2024-06. Another project taking advantage of the business district tax and building improvement grant. The award for this one was not to exceed $10,000, up to 50% of the total construction cost. Substantial improvements have been made. But the contractor recently had a medical emergency and they are requesting an extension of time. Their deadline was June 30th. And he would request, I think that this RDA, the amendment to the RDA, November 30th of this year to complete. And some of the things that need completed, repairing and restoring the iron pillars, some window replacement where the balcony doors are currently on the second floor, and an awning installation on the first floor. It is recommended the City Council discuss and approve ordinance 2024-31.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 20-31?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions for city staff? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Woodham?
Yes.
Mr. Carey?
Yes.
Ms. Lively?
Yes.
Mr. Piercy?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
yes,
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution 2024-32. Resolution approving the acceptance of proposal to furnish materials. For Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. That's correct. Resolution 2024-32 is the approval to furnish the materials and approve the award for the annual oil and chip program. The map was attached. The resolution is presented, request accepting a contract to furnish and install materials for our annual seal coat program, oil and chip. The City Council approved using MFT funds of $75,000 as line item 01551730 for the 2024 oil and chip program. What we have attached, like I said, is the map. The state provided form of the proposal to furnish an award under the Illinois Highway Code standard form BLR 12330 and the bid tabs. We got two responsive bidders. In fact, the price came in just a little bit lower than we thought, so we'll be able to add an additional street to get to that full $75,000 that the council desired to spend on the oil and chip program, not to exceed $82,500. So it's recommended the City Council discuss and approve resolution 2024-32 as presented today.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2024-32?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you determine what other street you're going to add to that?
So what we do, we have every year we go around, we kind of do a condition analysis and we look for significant bleeding, crumbling, roads that really need it. Then we add in, and then based on last year's prices, we back that back out and say, okay, we can do this many square yards. So it's a function of that. And then we take whichever one like is the next in line that we may have cut out, we add back in around the appropriate distance and size so we can get close to that number without going over. Because as they haul this stuff, as I'm sure you guys are aware, it comes in trucks and it's an about measurement. So it's 22 tons per truck. Sometimes it's 22.2, sometimes it's 19. So we don't really know the full value of it until it's all added up at the end. And it's a plus or minus thing. If you remember last year, I ended up having to come back to you for $246.50. So this year I padded that a little bit so I don't have to bug you with $246.50. So we'll hopefully with that close, but we keep a running list and it becomes cyclical. You look about every 5 years, 4 to 5 years, oil and shipping a street. Obviously some get beat down more with sun, weather, trucks, that kind of thing. But it's usually, that's how we do it. just keep a running list of which ones that get bad. Inevitably, once this goes in the paper and we've let the public know, people will be calling, what about my street? And then we can let them know where it's at in the process.
Is Poplar Street between Cedar and Lone Beach on that, where that big hunk of the road was taken out last?
Poplar and Cedar.
There was a home across the way in my area that had a serious plumbing, big, like several feet wide, and the cross was taken out and put a lot of like big gravel pieces on there. That's, yeah, it's like right there, right Cedar and Poplar, like really close.
I believe I know what you're talking about. Is it backfilled with rock currently?
Yeah.
So typically when we do that, we allow some settling to happen. When we put the road back, it's usually pretty quick and then we watch it, we let it settle out and settle. So I don't know how long that's been that way, but usually we'll cap that with cold patch before we oil and chip over it.
Gotcha.
So I'll make a note of it and we'll go look at it and see what's going on with it.
Thanks.
Okay,
But what's the timeline? Project?
It has to be finished by the beginning of school, and I don't remember exactly which August date it is, but when we do this, we always tell them you got to be done before the beginning of school. I don't have that conflict there. It's the August 12th, Mike, but I
Fine.
don't remember exactly.
16th.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all marked on his and I calendar. We're like, okay, because same thing goes with the Innovation Parkway project. Like we're like, this is it. So.
okay. Any other questions or comments? Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Woodham?
Yes.
Mr. Carey?
Yes.
Ms. Lively? Mr. Piercy?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Ms. Yoon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Alderman's reports. Rodney?
I got nothing tonight. Thank you.
You? Tom?
Nothing.
Mike?
Nothing tonight?
Elaine? Tom?
Nothing.
Ryan?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Cole?
No, sir.
Andrea?
No.
Thank you. Police chief's report. Bob?
Last Saturday, we did have about a 2-hour training session. There at the police range, we were doing evidence collection and processing, so we're pretty confident we aren't going to have to contact the state unless it's a major issue. We are getting ready for the July 3rd festival. This year, it's going to be a little different. The road's going to be closed at I-72, closer to Rick Ridings. We are hearing, we know that there's going to be reduced parking at Lodge Park. We're really pushing to either arrive early or start taking the shuttles. Since the high school's under construction, they are opening up 2 other parking areas, the middle school and the Methodist church, which is nice of them to kind of do that. Trailblazers, I think, is also allowing parking. Maybe for a small fee, something like that. But definitely we're pushing the whole arrive early and take the shuttles, because there's a good chance that road may get shut down at 7 or 7:30 as opposed to 8 or 8:30. Usually it gets shut down at. And then also, if you hear anybody complain about solicitors, speeding complaints, traffic complaints, we try to spread out as best we can. We're kind of throwing a few things out at stop signs for the last couple of weeks. But please tell your constituents to report something to the police when it happens. I just had a call today of a solicitation complaint that originated a year ago. The person did not have a permit to solicit, still went to a house. It wasn't an issue until now. There was a disagreement about an alleged tax refund amount. And now they try to have us go back a year to finagle something. If it happens, I can handle it there. Usually solicitation complaints we handle within about 5 minutes of the first complaint. I think we've written about $2,500 worth of tickets on that. So if anybody hears a complaint, please have them give us a call so we can take care of it, so they don't, have to suffer through people going through stop signs, people bother them, stuff like that. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Fire chief's report, John Rucky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In May, we ran 40 calls. We had our training. The first Thursday, we went over to County Market, got a tour. It's quite interesting in the back of that store. If you haven't been back there, it's glad we saw it. So if we ever have to get back there, it's like a maze. We also did ladder training and tool hoisting that day. We went out to the training grounds. The next week we had actually a car, a truck, and a bus. And we got our equipment out and started cutting them up and taking the doors and the roofs off that in case we ever have any accidents. Third week we had Carl come out and we did thoracic trauma. And so in case we have any types of medicals, anything really serious. And then some of the projects we did throughout May, we did Touch a Truck for Washington School second graders. Police came out, fire, the sheriff, K-9 unit came out, and the helicopter came out from Carl. Landed in the parking lot at the Cedar Center, which is really neat. And the kids go from station to station, and we explain what we all do. So it's really kind of neat for the kids to see and ask a bunch of questions and so forth. We helped out with the Kirby Derby, and in May we passed our annual inspection with Carl, so we are our rescue and our squad are both EMS qualified for medical. And then we had the Pike County Firefighters Association meeting on the 28th, which we attended. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of either chief?
I did want to say that I spoke to someone the other day who had a solicitor show up. She got a really creepy vibe. They were a little pushy, trying to talk through the door, and she immediately called the police, and
Right there.
it was taken over. And she said she was very thankful how quickly it was handled, and that the police called and notified her of what all happened and gave her some peace of mind. So thank you.
Some of them aren't too smart. They come to the mayor's house first. I'm serious. Don't you get a lot of? So, I can't stand them. They drive me crazy. Anyway. Terry, city administrator.
Just a couple of things. I've had questions from some of the council in regards to Burke Park. The bid opening is tentatively scheduled for August 15. Construction will start in September. And completion, we anticipate by mid-May of 2025. That's Burke Park. Grant and Buchanan Streets. The bid opening will be July 16th, and project completion will be late in September for Grant and Buchanan. If the bids come back.
Hope they do.
That's all I have.
Any questions of the administrator? Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? See you in.
Do you know what they're building on Grant? Is that a shed across from Lincoln?
So you.
Is a barn dominium.
Yeah, email.